Hi there, this is Shauna from the Foil Fox, and I'm here on the Paper Tray Ink and Ink to Paper YouTube channel, and I'm sharing Into the Blooms 2. This is new, but you remember Into the Blooms 1 that came out a little while ago as great flowers. Well, here are some more wonderful flowers, and that's in the number 2 set. Then I'm using the Border Blings Lots of Dots. It came out a little while ago, but it creates a really nice border, and I thought that it might be a good addition to this card design. Then I wasn't sure what sentiment I was going to use, so I have just Sentiment Summer, and then the Ultimate, which is Say It Essentials. It has, in this Say It Essentials, it has virtually every sentiment you can imagine. It's a great one to have in your stash because it covers almost every occasion or for every reason, so it will be kind of a go-to. But let me go on to the papers. I'm going to be using a piece of black cardstock, a little rectangle of white cardstock, a panel of white cardstock, and then a white card base. These are A2, and then some paper tray ink colors of Pure Poppy, Hibiscus Burst, Bright Buttercup, and then some white. So I'm going to take the black panel. This is an A2, the 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, and I'm going to cut out this border using that border die. And then using the Into the Blooms, I'm going to cut out flowers with the white, the yellow, the pink, and the red. And then for the green, I'm going to cut those out with the leaves out of that. Don't forget the little stem there. And so I've set those aside. I'll show you all the flowers in just a minute. But for right now, I'm going to take a little bit of liquid glue and dot some around the perimeter. And then I put some in the center. And I usually use double stick tape, but I'm not using it here, of course, because I don't want it to show through on the holes. Now, I could have mounted this directly on the card base, but I think it finishes it off a little bit more if I put it on a white card panel. Then I'm taking that little rectangle, which covers up a few of those dots, but not many, but I want it to be kind of a base. You can see that it's bigger than that center that doesn't have dots. I just wanted to show more white and not have quite as many dots on the perimeter. And then now I am going to use my double stick tape, and I'm going to add this all to the white card base. So now we're back with our flowers. We're going to set that aside, what I just did. We're going to work on these flowers. Now, I have oodles of flowers here now because I got them all out. But that's great because I can use them for different projects. And I'm not sure what I want to use, so I have lots to play with. I've got a few inks here and a blending brush. I'm using Bright Buttercup and Summer Sunrise. And I'm using the white kind of daisies here. I wasn't sure if I wanted to use the yellow or the white, so I'm coloring them. And I'm not doing too much of it, mostly just on the tips, just to give it a little bit of color. And then I'm going to do the yellow ones too, because I'm not sure which one. I'm going to use a little bit more of the Summer Sunrise so it shows up more. But I am using a combination of the Bright Buttercup and the Summer Sunrise on these, all of these little daisies. Now I can choose to stack them or not, but there are 3 pieces to it. You can see it there, how I stacked it. And then I'm not sure what I'm going to do here. I think I'll take out these pink ones. I'm not sure what this flower is, but it's an interesting one and it's cute. So I am using some Raspberry Fizz, and I think I might use just a touch of Autumn Rose just to darken those little petals again on the edges. I'm just giving it just a little bit of accent. It really just takes a minute to do. So here I'm just going to add this little bit of Autumn Rose on here just to darken it a tiny bit. And then keeping with the autumn rose, I'm going to go with the red. I just want to, it's hard to have any accent on this, but I am going to, it does darken them a little bit. It just adds a little bit more dimension, I think, so I am going to add some of this ink. You can see it does make them a little bit darker on there. And it's a nice complement to those pink ones. And then to the leaves, I am using pine feather. And I'm just adding again, I don't want to cover up the color of the cardstock that I'm using. I just want to add a little bit of accents, a little bit of shading. Now that the leaves are done, I'm going to kind of get an idea how this is all going to come together. So I am going to stack these. Like I say, you could use these so you don't stack the flowers, but you just use them all in a single way. But I am going to stack them. It gives them just a little bit more fullness to them. And I'm just back at my flower arranging, trying to get an idea how I want this to go. And I thought I needed just a little punch of something. I'm going to use these white ones that I cut out, and I'm going to use a little bit of the raspberry fizz, I think, on the edges, still keeping it really white, but I wanted it all kind of coordinate with my other flowers that I have there. And then I have this little center. This comes with the set. I'm going to use this yellow, but I am going to darken it with a little bit of combination of some raspberry fizz and some summer sunrise. And so I've kind of arranged them just loosely how I want them. But now I discovered, I really need to to do the sentiment first to see exactly how everything's going to go. So I'm not sure what sentiment I'm going to use yet. So I stamped "Oh Happy Day," and I'm going to stamp this other one. It's sending you sunshine, I think it says. So I've cut those out, and I really like this "Oh Happy Day," but it's a little more than I would like on there, so I think I'm going to use that strip. So now that I've decided that, I can go back to my flowers, and I'm just stacking these with a little bit of glue. I'm going to just do this to each one of them, put just a dot of glue in the center, leaving everything else loose, and kind of rotating those petals so that they kind of nest into one another and don't cover up each other, but rather make it look like there's, a more full flower. And then I'm going to just add a little dimension to the flowers by fluffing them up. And I'm going to put a piece of foam tape on the back in the center of each of these flowers. And then once we have that all ready, I'm going to take the leaves off, and we'll start back again putting these together. So you can see this is a really fast card design to do, because the Into the Blooms die set really does all the work for you. You just have to choose the colors and then how you want them arranged. I normally don't like to put an even number of flowers in my designs, but I decided it really did need to have another flower, so I am tucking in all 4 of these, and I'm going to kind of decide where that sentiment should go. And let's not forget our little stem, because that really does add to it. I have a little bit of foam tape on my foam strip, and I'm just going to tuck it into these petals. And believe it or not, we're nearly done. I'm just going to add some centers. I'm going to add a little bit of stickles. This is black stickles, glitter stickles that I'm putting in the center. Here are some These are liquid pearls, and I'm just putting them in the centers here. I have going back to my black stickles, but I'm actually going to use the little yellow center that comes with this set that I cut out and use that instead. But I'm going to put some liquid pearls right in the center of this big red flower. And then here we have it all complete, and I think that it does exactly what the sentiment says. It sends a little bit of sunshine, maybe a little retro sunshine. That's kind of what it reminds me of. But it was a lot of fun to make, and I'm so glad that you were here to join me with this project. And I hope you enjoyed it too. And if you did, please give us a thumbs up. And if you haven't already, please subscribe. We would love that. And then also, here is a list of the few items that we use. The Into the Blooms 2, the border blings lots of dots, and Just Sentiment Summer. But remember that Say It Essentials is a great one too. You can go to blog.inktopaper.com and check out Oodle's More Inspiration. And go to foilfox.com. We have a complete supply list. We have all of the supplies of everything that you could possibly imagine to make this card. And I hope we will see you there as well. I want to thank you again for being here, and we'll see you next time. Bye.